The AHRC Creative Communities programme explores the transformative power of cross-sector collaboration for culture and inclusive innovation in the devolved policy contexts of our 3 nations and 12 mayoral combined authorities in England. Hosted by Northumbria University, the programme is developing a new evidence base on how and why devolving culture and R&D can enable growth, address regional inequality, enhance belonging, and equalise opportunity. Since 2012, the programme has generated new evidence, shared learning, and enabled new collaborations across sectors and with communities, all designed to create new cultural R&D across all 4 nations of the UK. In May 2023, we delivered By All for All, The Power of Partnerships, a new deep dive report drawing on more than a decade of AHRC-funded community and cross-sector collaborative R&D. The report explores how we can unlock the potential of engaging communities and partners as researchers. But what is a creative community? A creative community describes collaborative cross-sector R&D that brings together diverse partners from communities, government, education, arm's length, third and private sector organisations in a place-based collaboration, one that delivers new culture, creates value, and generates economic, social and cultural spillovers, both for the partners involved and for wider society. As a delivery mechanism for R&D, creative communities are characterised by the involvement of a diverse range of stakeholders and sectors. Together, they work to build a cooperation network for skills exchange, spreading models of partnership working, and thinking about other professional environments. While levels of expertise, forms of engagement, location, depths of partnerships, and purpose all vary from region to region as well as nation by nation, the Creative Communities model provides a flexible and inclusive approach, nurturing new, diverse partnerships for long-term sustainable networks that focus on co-creation. A key focus is this new context of devolution and what this makes possible for R&D and culture across the UK today. A core aim of this programme is shifting research funding and powers into the devolved nations and regions by harnessing devolved policy making and the new Trailblazer deals in England to help cross-sector communities take back control of their own culture and innovation story. Structural changes to organisation and models are needed for us to adapt to this new landscape of devolution across our regions and 3 nations. Lots of funding continues to operate in a very centralised way for what is now an increasingly devolved UK. By committing to growing a more collaborative and inclusive R&D ecosystem, the Creative Communities programme is thinking through ways where we can embrace diverse voices and share new insights, thinking about devolution as a really powerful lever we can pull to catalyse knowledge generation and growth.
The first round of the Community Innovation Practitioner or CIP Awards came to an end in September 2024, and the aim of the CIP Awards is to generate new knowledge on how and why engaging cross-sector partners in research and communities as research partners can enhance the quality, resilience and sustainability of our research ecosystem. In 2023, Creative Communities awarded £290,000 to 5 CIPs across all the 4 nations of the UK to work with cross-sector stakeholders and communities with the aim of generating new culture to enhance community cohesion, bringing insight on how funders can better devolve funding, empowering local communities to come together around shared goals and forming more equitable ways of working in R&D. So through partnership working and embedding the award in pre-existing AHRC Impact Accelerator accounts, the CIP aimed to connect and extend knowledge exchange and impact through developing networks and produce knowledge that would inform practice as well as funders and government policy. So this was our 2023 to 2024 CIP cohort. We've got Alexander Langlands, who's from Swansea University. We've got Georgina Asgard, who works with the University of Liverpool. We've got Jim Donaghy from Ulster University. We've got Anya Brady from Queen's University Belfast and Gaston Wellish from Glasgow School of Art, who was working with the University of Glasgow. So over 12 months, the 5 CIPs worked with government, private, public, third sector partners to deliver new cultural research aimed at enhancing local belonging and pride in place and opening new access to collaborative R&D. The core outputs and activities of the CIPs included regular network sessions as well as podcast training. And as a result of this hard work, the new Creative Communities podcast series, case studies and devolved policy papers have provided timely evidence on the value of cross-sector partnership working to deliver cultural innovation and community cohesion in devolved contexts. Now, I'm really happy to hand over to 2 members of our CIP cohort who'll be giving us a short presentation on the co-created culture-led research that they delivered during their time as CIPs. After these presentations, I'll share a little more detail on the new CIP awards call. And after that, we'll have a panel Q&A for some questions. So if you do have any questions you'd like to ask us, the Creative Communities team, about the new call, please submit them via the Q&A function and we'll pick them up as we go along. So now I'm going to introduce you to Georgina Asgard, who's going to tell you more about her work as a CIP.
Hello, I'm Georgina Asgard, a cellist and music and health practitioner. My CIP research took place across 3 settings in Liverpool, which are part of Merseycare NHS Foundation Trust Life Rooms, a social inclusion centre, a high-security hospital and a community library. This work is part of an ongoing evaluation of a remarkable 16-year partnership between the Liverpool Philharmonic and Merseycare. Over 8 weeks in each setting, I facilitated weekly collaborative music sessions that culminated in a co-produced performance. The aim was to explore how music collaboration and co-creation can support people facing mental health challenges and promote well-being within our local communities. I wanted to create a simple research framework based on 5 key principles that can resonate with anyone, whether you're participant, musician, academic, manager or policymaker. Here is how it worked in practice. Connection was about building trust and relationships beyond background or diagnosis. At the heart of every session, it was about human connection. Collaboration was about co-creating music based on participants' voices. Creativity was triggered through deep and mutual listening, using shared stories and feelings to inspire new music. With a kind of anything goes approach, creativity gave freedom for self-expression. Commitment was shown through the dedication from everyone involved, which really drove the impact, and with care, we nurtured the human experience through live music, and each moment with kindness and compassion. This framework guided everything we did, uniting us through the power of live music. I'd now like to share with you practical examples of co-creation. At St Dunstan's, the CIP activities were groundbreaking, marking the first time Merseycare social inclusion team provided a creative outlet and a sharing platform for people accessing a food pantry. There, I had the privilege to connect with Roma families and individuals from Afghanistan, the Middle East, Iran, Italy, Poland, Trinidad. The positive outcomes of this pilot project were driven by cultural exchange and collaboration between participants, musicians and staff. In this high-secure division setting, I engaged with some of the most restricted participants in Merseycare. The beauty and novelty of classical music clearly inspired participants, boosting creative confidence without fear of judgment. Adaptability, flexibility and empathy were crucial to the co-creative process, allowing participants to leave a long-lasting legacy through their musical compositions and artworks. In a restricted environment, freedom of expression became of ultimate importance and really made co-creation thrive. In Walton, informal chats, bit of humour, plenty of fun, that's what really powered the creative process. Co-creation was all about learning from each other in a safe space. Everything we created was shaped by a person-centered approach, keeping the focus on each individual. Individual ideas became group ideas and somehow made loneliness turn into togetherness. And ultimately, it was a sense of ownership that truly fueled those co-produced performances. After these examples of co-creation, it is essential to emphasize that this work begins with authentic collaboration between participants and musicians. So for us musicians, it's crucial to continuously refine our practice, feel supported to do so, and remain connected to a broader community. These insights emerged from a workshop I facilitated with 7 practitioners in the Northwest region. And to finish with, back to my 5 C's, so that we can shape policies together. Let's connect, improve communication, and truly listen to those with lived experience. Collaborate, promote research partnerships, and co-produce the way we commission services. We need to co-create tools for healthcare musicians and co-create research methods. Let's commit to practically and contractually value practitioners in academia so that we can improve access to creative health for all. Last but not least, promote holistic care with a focus on early intervention. I believe these steps can drive real change. These research findings can be heard live on my podcast. Creating the podcast was a true highlight of my CIP research. I am deeply passionate about amplifying the voices of those with lived experiences, ensuring they reach a broad audience. For me, podcasting is not just a tool, but an essential research method, particularly in the field of creative health. With the invaluable guidance from Vic Turnbull at Mike Media, I am thrilled to have co-created a podcast that respects and celebrates the lived experiences of my participants while contributing meaningfully to these vital areas of research. I will finish this short presentation with the voices of my participants.
This is so beneficial to everybody because I think it feeds your soul in a way that medicine doesn't. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. It's been the single thing that has helped me heal with mental illness, with depression. And I just can't imagine what my life would be without music.
We need to give people purposes, that there is a life out there. And I think the word says it all, doesn't it? It's about life. This is a room for you to discuss life.
The word hope really springs out to me. I think it's a wonderful word. I think what we do here is brings hope, which is a tremendous springboard to life.
Rhonda, do you have anything to add, any punchy message to our policymakers?
Just to say that music, singing, instruments, collaboration brings joy, fulfillment, delight, pleasure. The world's in such chaos and turmoil, and these pockets of joy are to be treasured, encouraged, and financed. Bring the money on, keep it going.
A nice phrase, that, pockets of joy.
Pockets of joy, I like that, yeah.
Pockets of joy in a coat of love.
Thank you so much for that, Georgina. That was wonderful. And now I'm going to hand over to Jim Donaghy from Ulster University, who's going to tell you about his work.
Hi, my name is Jim Donaghy. I'm a research fellow currently at Ulster University in the north of Ireland. And this is a brief showcase of my Community Innovation Practitioner work alongside the skateboarding community in Portrush. My key research partners have been Selene Brown, a local videographer and long-time skateboarder here, and Causeway Association of Urban Sports, a campaign group who have been lobbying for dedicated skate park facilities in the area for about 15 years. You'll hear from both of them in a few minutes' time. The CIP research developed out of ongoing co-creative research with the skaters. The creativity in question is the artistic practice of skateboarding itself and the videographic documentation and sharing of the culture. Using Slaney's extensive collection of historical footage of skateboarding in Portrush, we engaged the contemporary skateboard community in a critical dialogue on the heritage of skateboarding here. As the project developed, we also undertook an initiative to collectively refurbish the DIY-made skate infrastructure that occupies Station Square in Portrush. This was about upskilling the skaters, improving the skateboarding experience, and encouraging a sense of self-respect among the skaters to take themselves seriously as legitimate users of public space. Here's a little montage to give you an idea of our work and to add an extra counter-cultural dimension. All the music featured here is by local musicians closely associated with the skateboard scene.
Realize at the time of these were simpler days with the needed dismay. We just want to land trace. So much talent laying dormant in this keep up with rush. Nobody could see it because they couldn't wake up. Well-educated fools from surrounding schools, studying for revocation and breaking the rules. Done a lot wrong, but a lot more right. With positives in the shadow, bring it back into the light. A causeway rebel, rising up for travel. A causeway rebel, fucking with the sign levels. A causeway rebel, rising up for travel. Causeway rebel, fucking with the sign levels. We're the last gang standing. We're the last gang standing. We're the last gang standing. We're the last gang standing.
The key findings of the project have been centred on the do-it-yourself energy that underpins skateboard culture, especially in contexts where that culture is neglected by local decision makers responsible for providing facilities and services. We focused on harnessing that DIY energy towards community self-empowerment, and our policy recommendations follow this tack as well. In fact, returning the term policy back to its roots as shared management of resources. When repeated appeals to top-down policymakers have been frustrated, grassroots policy action emerges as an effective solution that empowers local communities. The dialogue that emerged in and around our co-creative research activity also helped to sharpen the skaters' understanding of gentrification in their seaside town context, termed as resortification. The contribution of the research project was the capacity to zoom out and take a wide lens view at the various dynamics affecting the use of public space in Portrush. This enabled the skateboarders to find common cause with other local communities afflicted by resortification in Portrush, and to better understand how the wider issues around divestment of public land into private hands was directly affecting them. Next up is a clip from my CIP podcast featuring Slaney Brown and then also Rose Smith from Causeway Association of Urban Sports. They reflect on some of these key contributions of the project.
This project simply wouldn't have been possible without Slaney's extensive work to sift through the archive material and shoot new footage to put the old images in dialogue with the present-day skateboarding scene. Slaney reflects on the changing context and changed attitudes to skateboarding since he started skating in Portrush in 1995. He talks about the ramps, the increased confidence in his work, and joy at seeing the reaction from the community.
I think it was about 2 years ago, ramps started turning up at Station Square, and I was amazed that they stayed for the whole summer. It was brilliant. Eventually the council took all the ramps and there was a big outcry by all the locals. I was amazed watching the outcry online because growing up here as a teenager skating, I couldn't believe that parents and wherever were suddenly behind the skaters, and then it hit me that, oh my God, I'm one of the parents. I'm 45 now. I went, oh right, they're all the people we grew up with that have been seeing us skate Portrush all these years. They're now the people that have kicked up a fuss against the council. So getting into this research project, it was suddenly for years of me making videos and thinking, where do I go next? But yeah, it's been great to suddenly have a lot more confidence in what I've been doing since I was a kid, which is playing with video cameras. Been messing with videos since way before I even started skateboarding. So yeah, it's brilliant that it's always been there and it's just reopened it all for me and got me back to it again. In all of this kind of community stuff we've been doing with the skaters, I've noticed that the younger ones are fully into it. They all want to know You know, they want to learn how to build ramps. Yeah, and it's just great seeing the reaction in the group chat. Whenever you're like, oh, we're doing this, we're doing that, and then you see how many people are coming down, it's good to know that we're all here together.
A close relationship with cause has also been essential. Rose reflects on the Community Innovation Practitioner collaboration.
You've provided us with a lot of energy. You've provided us almost with a bit of validity in terms of, you know, you're coming from an academic perspective. And so that's fresh for us, you know, and to look at even your insight in terms of the work that's going on elsewhere, it gives us a bit of a context. And also seeing what we're doing fits in somewhere, you know, in terms of a journey.
I chose this clip to keep my research collaborators' voices to the fore in all aspects of this project. It's my name that gets attached to all the outputs, but it really has been a process of co-creation, not just with Slaney and Rose and everyone at Cause, but the wider skateboarding community. The skaters continue their campaign for a proper skate park in Portrush. We haven't got there yet, but the community's been re-energised by this project's interventions, and the issue has been given a more prominent platform. Thanks to everyone at Creative Communities for the opportunity.
Thank you, Georgina and Jim, both of you, for sharing your research as CIPs, and hopefully that has given you an insight into the kind of work our CIPs have been undertaking with their cross-sector partners. Two very different examples there. If you want to learn more, you can find the CIP's research in the form of detailed case studies and policy papers at the Creative Communities website. There's a link to the Creative Communities podcast too. Sam's going to drop them in the chat for everyone. And you can find the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere you might listen. And we ask, please, if you give the podcast a like, follow it, and leave any reviews, any comments you might have. That really helps, and feel free to share it too. So there are some differences to our new round of CIP awards for 2025 to 2026. The major difference is that we're adopting a two-stage process for applications. So we're opening with a stage 1 eligibility and expression of interest application. This is open now. These applications will then be reviewed, and a short list of applicants will be invited to make a full application. So we have introduced this as the award is no longer ring-fenced to HEIs and IROs that hold an AHRC Impact Accelerator account. Now the funding award is open to any HEI or IRO that is eligible for UKRI funding and also meet our eligibility requirements. We'll expect the CIPs to produce similar outputs as our previous cohort, to engage in the CIP network, this year expanded via our 23 to 24 cohort, and produce a podcast, case study and a policy paper. So this means that our eligibility is particularly important, and I'll talk you through that now. We're asking all applicants that they must be based at a UK higher education institution, a HEI, or independent research organisation, an IRO, that is located in a devolved region or nation of the UK. If you access our call announcement or applicant guide, you'll see we have linked to resources to help you identify if you are based in such a region or nation. As we've already discussed, the potential for culture-led R&D in devolved policy contexts is really important to this call, and so it is a key requirement for the funding. You must already be working in partnership with diverse external partners, cross-sector collaborations and/or communities. So to clarify, this means specifically non-academic partners. There may be academic partners included, and we are open to joint applications from eligible institutions, but non-academic external partners is core to our understanding of a creative community. You must have planned projects of work featuring collaborative co-creation R&D with funding until September 2026, and you must identify a named individual as a CIP candidate on the application. This is important as the funding is really intended to catalyse existing research relationships and enhance capacity for co-creation. It is also important because we ask you that you actively engage in the co-design and co-authoring of the application with all partners, including the CIP candidate. Embedding co-creation throughout all aspects of the award is essential and ensures critical commitment and buy-in from all of parties. We ask that you outline a distinct piece of research activity to be led and completed by the CIP candidate. This is particularly important if there has been existing research or the research will sit alongside other activities. So it's crucial that the work of the CIP is distinct and clearly understood as such by all partners. And finally, you must commit to providing a suitable package of support for the CIP. And that includes managing the hosting, the allocation of mandatory budgets, and line management of the CIP within existing institutional frameworks and governance structures. We expect that CIPs will all come from a variety of backgrounds. You've seen that from the two CIP candidates that we presented earlier. Not all of them will be experienced academics. And with this in mind, it is crucial that the needs of the CIP are considered and tailored plans are put in place to support them in the delivery of their CIP work. So to apply for this funding opportunity, you must complete an eligibility assessment to demonstrate meeting the full eligibility criteria and submit a 500-word expression of interest that outlines your project proposal. This is stage 1 of the application process. Joint applications from 2 or more eligible HEIs or IROs are welcomed, but applications must stipulate a lead HEI or IRO that will submit the application, be the central recipient of funding from Creative Communities, and be responsible for the employment and line management of the CIP and reporting on the project. All joint applications must include full details of how CIP's travel, communication and project management will be structured and shared between the HEIs and IROs. The eligibility assessment and expression of interest forms must be submitted online through an online application portal that is hosted by Gecko Forms. And we please ask that you secure the consent of all individuals named in the application, including external partners, before you make any submission. And the application does specify word limits where they are applicable, with maximum word limits. We also really need you to note that there's no option to save and return to the form later. So we do recommend that you prepare all answers ahead of time in a Word document or similar and copy and paste the answers into the form application stage. It's worth spending a little bit of time just looking at the application portal to see how it functions. Stage 1 applications will be subject to an internal review process where they will be assessed by the Creative Communities team for eligibility, completeness and fit to the programme opportunity. So applicants should make sure that language is clear and that any technical terms and acronyms are clearly explained. And should any applications be deemed ineligible or incomplete, the submission will be rejected. Each shortlisted application will be assessed by at least 2 panel members and scores will be collated. So we'll create a ranked list of applications forming a short list of applicants which meet the core requirements. And these shortlisted applicants will be invited to submit a full application to the CIP award for 2025 to 2026. So if your stage 1 expression of interest project proposal meets the minimum standard for the assessment criteria, you'll be invited to submit a full application which will consist of either a written application which is based on 4 250-word research questions, so that'll be a maximum of 1,000 words, or a video application based on 4 2-minute research questions, so that'll be a maximum of 8 minutes. These applications will be again submitted through the online application portal hosted by Gecko Forms. All application forms will only be accessible after the submission and approval of an EOI. So all shortlisted applicants will receive a link to the full application form when they receive their notification of their application outcomes at stage 1. Again, please secure the consent of all individuals named in the application, including external partners. And if you do choose to submit a video application, please use the project detail questions that are available in the applicant guide to structure that recording. We won't pay attention to any content that's additional to the 4 core questions that are asked in the application. And video applications will be judged on content alone, not production quality. So please don't worry about putting a lot of effort into your production quality. It's all about content. So again, the questions that are in that application are available in the applicant guide. There are some word limits, as I've mentioned. This is specified as maximum word limits. And there is no option to save and return to the form, remember. So please do prepare all those answers ahead of time, copy and paste them in. The full applications for the CIP awards, this is stage 2, will be subjected to a rapid review single stage process where they'll be assessed and considered by a panel comprising of academic and non-academic experts with appropriate expertise. So there'll be cross-sector, cross-nation external reviewers. So applicants, it's really crucial that you make sure language is clear and that any technical terms are clearly explained. The shortlist applications will be assessed by at least 2 panel members and scores will be collated. The panel's principal task is to recommend a ranked list of applications for us to consider for funding, taking into consideration the intention to fund up to 10 CIP opportunities which meet the core requirements of the opportunity based on the quality of the application. So the intention is to award funding to up to 10 proposals with funding allocation ring-fenced on nations. So the highest scoring proposals from each nation of the UK will be automatically awarded. So that makes up 4 awards. And the remaining up to 6 remaining awards will be allocated to the highest scoring proposals. In the case that one nation does not meet the threshold score for awarding, priority will be allocated to the next devolved nation application in the highest score. And if proposals have received the same final score, they may be re-ranked to facilitate this. And this is the timeline that we're working towards. So, as you know, the eligibility and expression of interest application stage 1 is open right now and will remain open until the 6th of January at 4 p.m. The portal will not be live after that time. It'll be removed. So please make sure that you submit your applications with good time. Don't leave it to the last minute. Outcome notifications will be sent out from the 27th of January. And from that point, the stage 2 application portal will be open for the full awards application. And that will stay open until the 20th of April 2025, 4 p.m. Again, that date will be the 4 p.m. The portal will close, so please make sure if you are invited to apply that you submit with good time. Throughout February, March and April, we'll be running application development surgeries. Those will be 20-minute sessions, optional sessions that you can meet with the Creative Communities team and discuss and ask questions about your proposal. Sign-up sheet to this will be included. A link will be included in your notification email for you to register for one of these events, should you be invited to submit a stage 2 application. Then final outcome of notifications will be sent in May 2025. Then we'll begin the onboarding process in time for the CIP to begin their role in the 1st of September 2025, and that'll run until the 31st of August 2026. So everything, the CIP research will be closed by September 2026.